Good evening, and welcome to the Cuyahoga Falls Amateur Radio Club's Monday evening transmission of Amateur Radio Newsline. My name is Russ, and my call is KDA-BYT. But for this presentation of Newsline, I will be using the club call Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor. Without further ado, this is Amateur Radio Newsline.
Amateur Radio Newsline report number 2386 with a release date of Friday, July 21st, 2023 to follow in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The following is a QST. Changes in band access await ham. Loved electronic supplier is closing after 50 years. And a ham marks a DXCC achievement of 2 lifetimes. All this and more as Amateur Radio Newsline report number 2386 comes your way right now. From around the world, this is Newsline, Amateur Radio's first independent all-the-air news and bulletin service. Now reporting from Charleston, West Virginia, here's Jim Dameron in a TMW. There are gains and losses for amateurs in Australia as the nation's regulator moves ahead with proposed changes to spectrum access. Graham Kemp, VK4BB, has that story.
Advanced amateurs in Australia and overseas equivalents will be losing their access to frequencies between 3.4 and 3.6 gigahertz, which have been identified for relocation to commercial interests and for use by Earth Station Protection Zone. Opposing those changes, the Australian Communications and Media Authority is expanding standard amateurs and overseas equivalents access to frequencies between 50 and 52 megahertz, in addition to the current 52 to 54 megahertz. These modifications are contained in the Radio Communications License Conditions Omnibus Amendment Instrument 2023 No. 1. The ACMA took its action following the submission of public comments to the consultation. The regulator said it received only 6 such comments, with the majority supporting the changes. This is Graham Kemp, VK4BB.
Meanwhile, in the UK, hams are getting some help in understanding the changes that Ofcom has in the works. We have those details from Jeremy Boot, G4NJH.
As Ofcom undertakes the first sweeping changes in ham radio licensing and call sign policy in 25 years, the Radio Society of Great Britain has been hoping to make things simpler. The Society is offering guidance on this consultation through a variety of materials that include a newly released video by Murray Nyman, G6JYB, the Society's spectrum and licensing expert. The RSGB is hoping that clubs will share the video at their meetings and assist hams in understanding the work underway. The video can be found on the RSGB's YouTube channel or on the consultation webpage of the Society at the link found in the text of this week's newscast. The regulator is seeking feedback and has set a deadline of the 4th of September for comment. This is Jeremy Boot, G4NJH.
A computer hacker who was once on the FBI's most wanted list and who described himself as possessing the world's most expensive amateur radio license has become a silent key. Here's Cell MB KB3TZD to tell us about him.
Kevin Mitnick, N6NHG, whose computer hacking skills landed him a federal prison term with hundreds of supporters pressing for his freedom, has become a silent key. Kevin died on Sunday, July 16th, of pancreatic cancer. According to several online obituaries, by the time he was 16 years old, Kevin had already sharpened his software skills, gaining unauthorized access to computer systems. Ultimately, it was his illegal download of software from Digital Equipment Corporation in the 1980s that led to a massive manhunt, his conviction, and a 5-year prison term. Having become a ham radio operator at the age of 13, he wished to return to the air once he was released from prison and spent more than $16,000 in legal fees to petition the FCC for a license renewal. He succeeded, saying afterward that as a result, he possessed the most expensive amateur radio license in the world. Kevin was 59. This is Cell MB, KB3TZD.
India is hoping to become the 4th nation to achieve a controlled moon landing, and at last reports, its spacecraft was well on its way. John Williams, VK4JJW, has that report.
The launch of the John
Chandrayaan-3 mission was an historic one for India, which is aiming to achieve a soft lunar landing after the previous mission in 2019 failed. The Indian Space Research Organization declared its trajectory a precise orbit shortly after its launch on Friday, 14th of July. The name of the spacecraft is Sanskrit for Mooncraft. It's expected to live up to that name when it makes its intended arrival on the south pole of the lunar surface in late August. This is John Williams, VK4JJW.
Another much-loved source of electronic supplies for amateur radio operators is about to join the growing list of companies shutting down. It's scheduled to happen next month. We have those details from Ralph Squillaci, KK6-ITB.
All Electronics in Van Nuys, California, has provided at least 2 generations of hobbyists, radio amateurs, and tinkerers with a variety of surplus electronics parts and manufacturers' overruns for their projects. The legendary seller will be closing its doors in the next few weeks, likely by the end of August. When All Electronics announced earlier this year that it was calling it quits, the business had already scaled back its previous 7-day-a-week operation for walk-in customers, keeping its doors open on weekdays only. The company notes on its website that its mail-order business has been brisk lately, as the 56-year-old enterprise attempts to close out its warehouse in time for final shutdown. This is Ralph Squillaci, KK6-ITB.
To ensure they are prepared for emergencies and extreme weather, many hams are accustomed to sharpening their responses through regularly scheduled drills. But the drill that's taking place next month in Mobile, Alabama, is for a major event that actually happened more than 70 years ago. It was World War II. Jack Parker, W8ISH, fills in the details.
There will be a call to battle stations sounded on Saturday, August 12th, and those aboard the battleship USS Alabama and the submarine USS Drum will be ready for what is to follow in Battleship Memorial Park. Vintage enemy aircraft will do a flyover and a mock attack. The crew on board the ships will fire the vessel's 20mm guns. Meanwhile, radio communications will go forward with members of the Deep South Amateur Radio Club also on board, calling QRZ on 20 and 40 meters. They will be using the club call sign K4DSR and the call sign K5LDA. Unlike the radio amateurs, the crewmen are all reenactors. Dressed in World War II-era Navy uniforms, they will conduct weapons briefings and demonstrations while reliving some of the stories of that time. This is a living history crew drill designed to show the public just how things were in the heat of the war so many years ago. What the members of the living history crew share with the hams is that they are all volunteers. They show that they appreciate the spirit of volunteerism and education by conducting these drills to bring history to life again a few times each year. This is Jack Parker, W8ISH.
An infusion of money is helping an all-volunteer museum in New England upgrade its on-site ham radio station. Andy Morrison, K9AWM, tells us what changes are in store.
The Amateur Radio Club of the Vintage Radio and Communications Museum of Connecticut is about to expand its reach with the help of a grant from Amateur Radio Digital Communications. The on-site club, which has the call sign W1VCM, intends to add new antennas as well as Earth-space capability to its operations. The club plans to have a high-gain antenna system, a satellite transceiver, and computer-controlled tracking, giving better access to QSOs through the International Space Station and several low-Earth orbit amateur satellites. Bob Allison, WB1GCM, president of the Amateur Radio Club, said in a press release that the club's demonstrations of amateur radio have provided encouragement to visitors, some of whom decided they wanted to become hams too. This all adds up to a big plus for the museum as well. According to its director, John Ellsworth, he said that the availability of a working radio station complements the museum's role in telling the story of communication. The museum, which has showcased communications history for 33 years, is run entirely by volunteers, providing opportunities for children to build crystal radio sets and attend other hands-on classes that bring history as well as more modern-day technology into their lives. Bob told Newsline the spirit of amateur radio is live and well at the Vintage Radio and Communications Museum of Connecticut. This is Andy Morrison, K9AWM.
Time for you to identify your station. We are the Amateur Radio Newsline, heard on bulletin stations around the world, including the K4EX repeater in Dade City, Florida on Tuesdays after the 7 p.m. net. In the U.S., the Federal Communications Commission is getting ready to consider a request from broadcasters to permit the highest allowable power for digital FM stations. Kent Peterson, KC0DGY, has that story.
The FCC is preparing to vote early next month on permitting some digital FM stations to broadcast using the highest allowable power levels by adopting a change in the way such levels are determined on the upper and lower digital sidebands. The request for change is being made by the National Association of Broadcasters, a trade group representing radio and TV entities, and Xperi, the company that developed and licenses HD radio technology. Xperi estimates there are 2,600 stations in the U.S. that use HD radio technology. Both the NAB and Xperi say their goal is to improve the digital signal's quality and coverage. They are petitioning for the acceptance of a new formula that would permit an increase over the present level currently authorized at a digital ERP of -14 dBc, or decibels relative to carrier. The approved increase would not require prior FCC authorization. Although a number of major media groups support the petition, saying it's good for business as well as listeners, Press Communications LLC in New Jersey has told the FCC that a power increase could pose difficulties for smaller FM stations and LPFM, the low-power FM service. The vote is expected to take place on August 3rd. This is Kent Peterson, KC0DGY.
In the world of DX, Giuseppe IK5WWA is on the air as IM0C from San Pietro Island, IOTA number EU165 until the 30th of July. Listen for him on 40 through 2 meters and perhaps on 80. QSL via his home call. Jarno OH6NJ will be active as OH6NJ/8 from Haloto Island, IOTA number EU184 between the 24th and 31st of July. He'll be using CW, SSB, and FT8 mainly on the higher bands. QSL via his home call. In Guatemala, Dennis KT8X will be active holiday style as TG4/KT8X from the 23rd of July to the 4th of August. He'll be using CW, FT8, and possibly some SSB on 40 through 6 meters. QSL via Logbook of the World only. Listen for Ron, DL1RNW, operating as OZ/DL1RNW from Sancaias, Maidenhead Square, JO75JG on Bornholm Island, IOTA number EU030. He'll be on the air from the 23rd of July through the 5th of August on 6 meters and the HF band. QSL via EQSL. Our final story isn't just about the DX achievement of a lifetime, it's about a personal tribute. Patrick Clark, K8TAC, brings us that story now.
For some, a contact with Bove Island, considered the most remote island on Earth, is like winning the lottery. But for Bob Words and F7E, it means so much more in the amateur radio lexicon. The QSOE logged earlier this year with a 3Y0J DXpedition, and it is a 47-year journey to log all 340 independent DXCT entities. The ARRL requires contacts with only 331 such entities for him to be included on its DXCC honor roll. Clearly, Bob had his sights set on a higher mountain. His personal challenge began nearly a half a century ago. Speaking of mountains, the impressive log he's amassed toward that end includes another remote contact, Mount Athos in Greece, where the operator was Monkalo. Their QCW Monkalo, who is now a silent key, was viewed by DXers as one of the most sought-after contacts. Bob at one point thought it might end up being the most difficult contact since he became a ham they, however, filled that role. It also allowed him to fulfill a very personal and perhaps most meaningful goal. In an interview with the Flagstaff Business News, he said he considers his completion of the challenge to be a tribute to his father, who held the call sign of KA9ACS and is now a silent key. This is Patrick Clark, K8TAC. We hope our listeners have been enjoying the Amateur Radio Newsline Haiku Challenge. We certainly have. In the spirit of fun and perhaps a little bit of literary adventure, we've been inviting listeners to channel their most creative selves and share the joy of ham radio in the form of a haiku. On our website, arnewsline.org, you'll find a submission form for sending your most poetic offering. To qualify, you need to follow traditional haiku form. The first line is 5 syllables, second line 7 syllables, and the finishing third line has another 5 syllables. We cannot accept any other formats. Our team will pick from the best submissions that follow the 5-7-5 syllable rule and represent the love of amateur radio. Your prize, for now, bragging rights and a featured spot for your haiku on the Amateur Radio Newsline website. We may have a surprise for you at the end of the year, however. So visit our website at arnewsline.org and take a look at this week's winning ham radio haiku. Do you have a piece of amateur radio news that you think Newsline would be interested in? We're not talking about advertising your club's upcoming ham fest or field day participation, but something that is out of the ordinary. If so, send us a brief overview via the contact page at arnewsline.org. If it's newsworthy and we would like to cover it, we'll get back to you for more details. With thanks to Amateur Radio Daily, AMSAT News Service, ARRL, the Australian Communications and Media Authority, Bob Allison, WB1GCM, CNN, CQ Magazine, David Behar, K7DB, DXWorld.net, Facebook, Flagstaff Business News, FCC, 425DX News, Indian Space Research Organization, Ofcom, QRZ.com, Radio World, shortwaveradio.de, Wireless Institute of Australia, WPMI, and you, our listeners, that's all from the Amateur Radio Newsline. We remind our listeners that Amateur Radio Newsline is an all-volunteer nonprofit organization that incurs expenses for its continued operation. If you wish to support us, please visit our website at arnewsline.org and know that we appreciate you all. We also remind listeners that if you like our newscast, please leave us a 5-star rating wherever you subscribe to us. For now, with Karen Eve Murray, KD2GUT at the news desk in New York, and our news team worldwide, I'm Jim Dameron, N8TMW in Charleston, West Virginia, saying 73. As always, we thank you for listening. Amateur Radio Newsline is copyright 2023, all rights reserved.
This concludes our Monday evening transmission of Amateur Radio Newsline. Set to start in about 10 minutes.
W8VPV. Repeater. W8VPV. Repeater. W8VPV. Repeater.
Welcome to the Cuyahoga Falls Amateur Radio Club, Monday night VHF UHF net. My name is Frank. My call is W8EZT, but for the purposes of this net, I'll be using the club call Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor. This is an open, directed net. All amateur radio operators are invited and encouraged to check in. You do not have to be a club member. All traffic will go through net control, and since emergency traffic may break in at any time, please leave a brief pause between transmissions. The purpose of this net is to bring together all amateur radio operators information, to enhance net operating practices, and to keep members up to date about current club happenings. This net meets here every Monday evening at 8:30 p.m. local time, preceded by Amateur Radio Newsline at 8:01. We'll start with some announcements and then ask for check-ins from any club member or officer who has information of general interest to the club. Once that's complete, we'll take check-ins, call signs only, 5 at a time, confirming the call before I move on to the next. Once I've got 5 or 6, I'll go back to the top, work through them, and then repeat that until we run out of people. If you're a regular participant, I'll recognize you by your call sign. If not, please give it to me, repeat it phonetically, followed by your name and location. When all the check-ins are worked, we'll close the net, repeating the announcements. And also, I want to remind you, we do have we operate an HF plus 6 band exploration net starting at 9:30 tonight. It'll be on 80 meters. I'll announce the frequency on this repeater a little bit later on. To anybody out there who does have 80-meter capability, I am having some problems with my antenna, so I may have to drop out at some point, and I'd appreciate it if somebody else would pick up for me. We'll see what happens. I'll try to get a chance to check it out before then. All right, let's head to the announcements. This Wednesday, coming up, wrong page. Hang on one second. Right, now we got the right page. This Wednesday, July 26th, 7:30 is our activity meeting. It'll be in person and Zoom. In person at the church for those of you who've been there. And of course, Zoom if you can't. The Zoom link is in the The presentation will be the Ohio State QSO Party and the State QSO Party Challenge. Anthony will be talking about how you can be an in-demand multiplier station without having a weak leader shack during the August QSO Party, and how you can double on capacity by submitting your score to the year-long QSO Party Challenge. Things that I don't know a lot about, so I will be there listening. Next meeting coming up, August 9th, is our business meeting. That's also in person and Zoom. We'll have a Hamfest 2024 update with the final scores and how we did. Of course, normal business meeting, and pause for time. August 23rd, which is the fourth Wednesday of August, will be our club picnic. Now, we will not be meeting in the church as we normally would, and there will be no Zoom presentation of this. This will be an actual in-person picnic at Waterworks Park, and details will follow. You'll see them in the newsletter next month. That's it for meetings. Some announcements. Dues are now due. If you haven't already renewed, please do so. You can use the link on our webpage to renew. You can also renew through PayPal. But one way or the other, we'd appreciate you renewing, and we need your help and we need your support to keep the club going. So appreciate that. Second thing, we need 2 volunteers, one primary and one as a backup, to act as Zoom producers. We have finished acquiring the equipment needed to put on a reasonably good Zoom presentation, and we'd like 1 or 2 members who can regularly attend the meetings to be willing to act as our producers and manage the setting up and manage the speakers, the computer, the video projector, and so on like that. If you're interested, please contact one of the club officers or Anthony, KZT, at cfart.org. And the CFAR picnic, which I already mentioned, is coming up about a month away. We need some volunteers to help handle arrangements. Greg, our club president, WB8YS, is going to kind of coordinate the whole thing, but he's going to need some help. So if you can help in one way or the other, we'd appreciate it. And there will be a sign-up sheet for attendees the next couple of weeks, both on the website and direct and pointed to by the newsletter, which will be coming out. Finally, just some quick announcements. August 12th is the Goodyear Aries, or the Goodyear Half Marathon. Summit County Aries Amateur Radio Emergency Society is always looking for volunteers to help with that one. If you're interested, go to the Summit Aries website and please sign up. On 8/10, August 10th, there'll be a special presentation in the Stowe Library titled The Golden Age of Radio. Dr. Max Grubb, Senior Lecturer of Communications from Youngstown State University, returns to discuss the central role played by radio programming during the 1930s, 40s, and 50s. Registration for this program begins July 1st, which is already happening. To register, please visit the Stowe Monroe Falls Library. That's Thursday, August 10th at 6:30 p.m., and it is a free event. I think I've wasted enough time with announcements and everything. Let me grab my pen, get a new sheet of paper, and we will look for any announcements from officers, trustees, or club members of general interest to the club. Go ahead now. We'll take you one at a time.
WO3X with an announcement.
Okay, we had a double there. WO3X got through. The other stations stand by, and we'll get right back to you. Go ahead, John.
Okay, a few days ago, Anthony, KHZT, sent out a message requesting that we get I'm hearing some kind of tone. Am I coming through okay?
Right now you are. Yes, there was some kind of tone in there.
Okay. Anyhow, we need people to assist the Hamfest chairman and the Hamfest co-chairman. So this would be a long-term basis. So send a message to me. It's WO3X at cfarc.org, and to Bruce, AKAB. I'm not sure what his email address is, but send them to me, and we need to get this started because what Bruce does is a quite intricate set of workings, and it's been quite successful over the decades. So so we need at least two, three, or maybe even 4 people to take over with that, with learning how to do that. So back to the net. This is WO3X.
Very good, John. For anybody who is aware, yeah, we do a Hamfest in early April, and that's coming up now, 8-9 months away, and we need to get on the ball as far as planning, getting the advertising out, getting budgeting done, and by the way, that it will be one of the issues in the August business meeting. We'll need to be voting on a budget for the Hamfest, so we do need a quorum there. So yeah, we'd appreciate that. Again, this is a knowledge and a way of doing things that we need to pass down to newer members. So we're looking for some volunteers to jump on board and join the committee and just learn about how we put this on. We really appreciate it. All right, John, got that one. There was something else that we need you. Go ahead with the station.
Alpha Charlie 8, X-Ray Oscar.
Go ahead, Vince.
It's that time of the month, Frank. You know how it is. End of the month, for people to think about getting their newsletter articles in. That includes you, Frank, but that's beside the point. Anyway, I'm looking for articles. Otherwise, we're going to have a real sparse newsletter. Other than that, that's all I got. Alpha Charlie 8, X-Ray Oscar, back to net.
Okay, and the cutoff date on that is when, Vince?
It is the end of the month. That's the rule. It's like if you can get it in by the 30th or the 31st, or in some cases the 28th or the 29th, that's when it is. Anyway, that's it.
Okay, very good. That's 1 week from now. I'll see what I can come up with. It may be a struggle, but I'll come up with something then. All right, thanks, Vince. I got you and John checked in. Do we have anybody else with general announcements? All right, nothing heard. We'll start working through check-ins. Now, I do have a question tonight, and this is in the form of a survey. what would you like to see presented as far as a topic at a future a future club activity meeting? Do you want to learn about DXing? Do you want to learn about fox hunting and direction finding? Do you want to learn more about antennas? Do you want an antenna build party? Do you want to understand new modes? Do you want a presentation on FT8? Do you want a presentation on learning CW? What is it that you want to see your club to do? So I'd like to kind of collect thoughts as to what people would like to see. Maybe antenna modeling. We can get technical if you want. We can have build projects. But that'll be the question tonight. So as you check in, please have an answer for that question. All right, this is W8VPV. Let me pause here for a second. And we are now looking for check-ins. We'll take 5 at a time, call sign only. Go ahead.
BSA, NL.
We got you, Keith, in and out. Next. All set and record. It is a warm, sunny evening tonight. W8VPV looking for any check-ins.
KE8ULA.
KE8ULA. All right, got you, Jim. Stand by. Next.
8YTG. E8KVI.
E8KVI. Got you, Ron. Next.
AB8OU.
Got you, Zeke. Next.
KE8HJB.
KE8HJB. Signal, David. Got you. Next. All right, I guess this is going to be a real light net tonight. All right, go ahead, Jim. Let us know how things are going for you, and let me know what you'd like to see from our in any future club meetings. We're going to try to plan this to what the members want.
KE8ULA. Yeah, thanks, Frank. Good evening, everyone on the net. Yeah, everything's going fine here. I'm just out in the driveway on the mobile right now. I'm tuning up the software program on the mobile. So I don't know how good my signal is. I'm just surrounded by electrical wires here. I get a lot of noise. I think it's because of that. As far as what I'd like to see right now, I'm looking for a rig. All I have are my mobile and my HT. But I'm looking for a rig, and so I'm really interested in finding a good practical antenna that I could use and put up. So I'm interested in antennas. That's my input, KE8ULA, back to the net.
Very good. There's, of course, lots of interest in antennas, so I got you down for practical antennas. This could evolve into a build operation one of these days, so thank you for that input then. All right, next up, let's see here. Ron, KE8KVI, how you doing tonight?
Oh, not too bad, Frank, and everybody out there in radio land. Been the usual for the day, working on some technical issues, and I had to take my beagle to the vet because he has a sore that isn't healing. And it looks like he has a problem with a cyst, so he's on antibiotics now, poor thing.
Well, at least you were on it quickly, and there's a treatment for it, so hopefully you'll heal up very well and very quickly. All right, very good, Ron. Anything you want to see out of the club?
Yeah, actually, what I would like to hear is a good overview on different types of antennas and their pros and cons. We've got an awful lot of experience using them within the club, and those are the experiences I'd like to hear about.
All right, kind of a survey of antennas, what they can do and what the trade-offs are. That's certainly something doable. Very good. Appreciate it, Ron. Have yourself a good week and hope to catch you down the page. Next up, Zeke, AB8OU. Go ahead, sir.
AB8OU. Good evening, Frank and everyone. Well, antennas. I did a presentation last week at Sarah on EdFed Halfways. If there'd be any interested in my repeating it for the CFORG meeting sometime. Anyway, that's it. Not much new here. No contests over the weekend, which was strange. AB8OU.
Good, Zeke. And for anybody who was out there at Field Day, two of our antennas that were very successful, one for the multiband sideband station and one for the multiband CW station, were end-fed long wire antennas. And they were in an inverted V configuration to kind of round out the pattern, but we had very good response to both of them. And, of course, using antenna tuners, they become multiband antennas. So there may very well be some interest on that. I'll keep you posted, Zeke, and give you some advance notice, and that might be a very good presentation for the club coming up. Thanks very much for the offer. All right, next up, David, KE8HJB. Go ahead, sir.
WAVPV, KE8HJB. I'm pretty much in and out, Frank. Would you keep me up to date on your build project on that, programming the repeater stuff? Thanks a lot, and I'll be clear.
All right, very good, David. And when I get back to it, and I say that half jokingly and half seriously, because I have been distracted with a lot of other activities that got pushed off due to Field Day. But I will try to get that hotspot programmed, and then I'll be glad to come over and duplicate the effort for you. So we will get there. All right, I'm at the bottom of my list. So this is W8VPV, the Cuyahoga Falls Amateur Radio Club, Monday night VHF UHF net. Looking for 5 check-ins. Call sign only. Go ahead now.
KE8WGD.
KE8WGD. I think that's Greg, right?
Yes, that's right. It's Greg.
I got you, Greg. And by the way, Jim, earlier on, you mentioned you were wondering how your signal was if you're still in there, K8ULA. You were clean into the repeater, absolutely no noise at all. So from that location, mobile, you had absolutely no problem getting into the repeater. All right, I got Greg looking for 4 more check-ins.
Kilo Echo 8 Tango Quebec Romeo KE8TQR.
KE8TQR. I should recognize the name. I've heard it now enough, and I don't. I apologize. What's the name of that, please?
Personal is Chief Kilo Echo India Tango Hotel.
Keith, we'll get right back to you. Looking for another check-in? Slow. It's going to be a small net tonight, fairly fast, so we'll take these 2 and then we'll handle them one at a time. KE8WGD. Go ahead, Greg, and let us know what you'd like to see out of the club.
KE8WGD. I got my general license right before Field Day, and I recently bought a sort of cheaper end HF radio, so I'm looking to get out on HF. I've been experimenting with their random wire, haven't got it up in the air yet, so that would be a good place to start.
Okay, an HF antenna, and I assume you'd probably want to do multiple bands, so some kind of a multi-band capability. Very good. We will add that to my list. It looks like antennas, without a doubt, is the big issue, and we'll get together with the officers and trustees and see what we can put together there. And then KE8TQR. Keith, go ahead.
W8VPV KE8TQR. Good evening, Frank. I haven't heard you on here in a while. Well, okay, I don't get on as often as I should, I know. I don't really, okay, antennas, yeah. Want to go do something on antennas. Being a new ham, all this stuff is new to me, so I guess I got to start at the beginning. I learn a little every time I listen to somebody, but anyway. The fact is my antenna, my tower will be going up one of these days. I've got the guy coming out Saturday to dig the hole to put the rebar cage in, and then I can start assembling the tower with all the coax, the antennas, all that. So eventually I'll be on HF. Antennas would be a good thing to start with on the club. And I'll send it back to you, Frank, to KE8TQR saying 73 all.
All right, sounds good. Got you in there also for antennas. That's without a doubt, hands down, the topic of choice. So we will do something like that. And stay tuned, and if you can, sign up for our picnic. Hope to have a rig and a small portable antenna out there, and we can go over how that works while we're there. All right, I'm at the bottom of the list looking for check-ins. I'm going to take them one at a time now, so just throw your call out there, and I'll come right back to you. This is W8BPV, the Cuyahoga Falls Amateur Radio Club, Monday night VHF UHF net.
KE8ULA, recheck.
Go ahead, recheck.
Thanks for the signal report, Frank. I think it was Zeke mentioned a presentation on multi-band NFEDs. Sounds like that would be right up my alley. I'd be interested in hearing something like that. KE8ULA, back to the net.
Okay, I think I might have added the word multi-band to it, but I will talk to him then and see what we can put together for an NFED presentation coming up. That is one of the easier antennas to hang because you only have two support points, the two ends. One of the drawbacks is you end up feeding it at a high impedance point, which is also a high voltage point, and there are some impedance matching issues, but I'm sure he's going to cover that. So, all right, we'll see what we can do there. Very good. Appreciate it, Jim. Let's see. Back to the check-ins. Looking for any other check-ins for the Cuyahoga Falls Amateur Radio Club, Monday night VHF UHF net.
W8DIS.
And I got you, Bill. Go ahead. We're taking them one by one now.
Hello, everybody. Don't really have any traffic. I'm late to the party. Just walked in the door and flipped the radio on. So I just wanted to say hi and add one to the numbers. Hope everybody's doing well. W8VPV, W8DIS, back to that.
Very good, Bill. The question tonight for everybody, if you have an answer, optional obviously, we're looking for topics to do on future club activity meetings, whether you attend in person or on Zoom, and antennas, one aspect or another, has been a big issue or a big topic. Is there anything you'd like to see?
Good question. This has probably all been said, but my first thought when you said that also was antennas. I'd like to learn more about NFED, and in particular the balins or ununs that you use on the end of them. As you know right now, I don't have an antenna for HF other than 10 meters, so I'd be very interested in something like that. If I think of anything else, I'll toss it out at one of the meetings or something. Thanks. W8DIS, back to that.
Very good, Bill. Thanks. I think antennas is pretty much universally what the interest is, so we'll focus to put that together. And that's a big enough topic that could be 2 or 3 successive activity meetings if the interest is there. All right, W8BPV, looking for more check-ins. I heard somebody in the background there. Just come in and try it again. All right, no copy there. Do we have any more check-ins? Great, this is going to be one of the shortest nets I've done in a long time. Let me go ahead and work through the announcements again, see if anybody shows up a little bit later here. Let's see. Dues are now due. If you have not already renewed, we would appreciate your support in the form of your dues. They can be paid via PayPal. You can send a check to our post office box. There are multiple ways you can do it. Please complete an online form so we know who's there, and we do appreciate your support. We are looking for 2 volunteers to act as Zoom producers. We are completing the equipment we need, the laptop, the camera. We, of course, have the speakers and the projectors to be able to do a fairly high-quality Zoom presentation on a monthly basis, and we need 2 people that can basically get trained and brought up to speed on how to set up the computer, the camera, the speakers, and the video projector, and basically handle the Zoom aspect of the meetings. It's one of those unsung hero jobs, but it really would really be appreciated. So if you can, please do so. Let me pause for a second.
WAKL checking.
Picnic is a month away, just under a month away. We're looking for volunteers to help handle setup and everything like that. There will be announcements in the newsletter and probably the website fairly quickly for sign up. We do need to get an estimate number of people so we can bring the right amount of main course. The club will provide the main course meat. We're not sure what it's going to be yet. We need to talk to people. Could be as simple as hot dogs, could be brats, could be steaks, could be hamburgers, could be anything in there, chicken even. We'll provide corn, and we ask that members, as they show up, bring some kind of a side dish. It could be chips, it could be beans, it could be a salad, or anything else like that. We'll be at the Waterworks Picnic Shelter. Shady Bend is the name of it. We'll have more on that coming up here. And that will be on the 23rd of, wrong list. Let me find it here. Yeah, the 23rd of August, which is the fourth weekend. And we will have a radio out there running off a battery and a temporary antenna, and we'll probably do some HF contacts. All right, those are the big announcements. Let me get to calendar.
WAKL checking.
All right, very good. Got you in here. How you doing tonight?
A little befuddled. I'm on the CFARC website. I paid my dues, but I cannot view the club roster and member-only docs. It's blank.
Okay, let me make a note here, and I will reach out to Anthony, and we will get that resolved for you in the next day or so. I apologize for that. We just had a change of people handling this, so we're playing catch-up here. We do have a question tonight. We're looking for ideas what our club members want from our activity meetings. The big trend so far has been antennas, all about antennas, NFED antennas. Do you have anything to add? What would you like to see the club doing for their activity meetings?
That directed towards me, Frank?
It is.
Okay. WAKL. Yes, I mentioned this to in the past. I'd like to see, because I viewed it, you can view this online. There's a excellent video about the Scarborough Reef de-expedition. I think it was 06 or 07. They had to put cages around rocks. That's Scarborough Reef, actual boulder rocks. And it would be a great video. I think it's very riveting to see how this de-expedition went down and took place. That's just any big-time de-expedition, if we could watch a video of it at one of the meetings, it's very riveting. It's how these people have to set up and just the whole 9 yards. WAKL. Just a suggestion.
Well, thank you very much. That's exactly what I was asking for, is suggestions. And I think I might have seen on the cover of QST magazine a picture from the Scarborough Reef expedition, and it was literally probably a 5 or 6 foot boulder sticking up a little bit out of the water, and they had built a 2x4 platform and a table and an umbrella, and I think a generator sitting there, and this poor guy is on probably a 6 foot by 8 foot platform secured to this rock, making contacts and everything, and lordy, if the sea rises, he could go under real quickly. But that's an interesting one. We did have at our Christmas party a couple of years ago, Mel Vi do a presentation on the, what's the name of the Antarctic island that he activated, the stories that went through there, getting on and off the islands, problems with the ships, things like that. So we occasionally do in-person presentations, and I'll see what we can do. That's a good one to put on the list then. Thanks, Ken. Appreciate it. We got you checked in. Let me finish up the announcements here. I was working on the calendar, I think. Coming up here on the 12th, of course, I went through the club meetings coming up here. The 26th, this Wednesday, we're doing the Ohio State QSO Party and State QSO Party Challenge, which are two different events. August 9th is our business meeting. We will be trying to pass a budget for the Hamfest, so we do need a quorum there. We will also have the field day update with final scoring there. And August 23rd is our picnic at Waterworks Park. We will not be meeting at the church, and we will not have a Zoom meeting. It'll be an in-person picnic. All right, 8/12 is the Goodyear Aries Half Marathon. Summit County Aries needs your help. reach out to their website if you can volunteer. It's a quick morning and then you're done. 9-6 is the Ohio State Parks on the Air.
Repeater, timeout.
Meters also. Finally, let me pause for a second.
Time. Repeater, out.
9-6 is Espada. 9-13 is Seafark to the field. We'll be asking our club members to go mobile with their 2-meter, 440, and 10-meter gear and make contacts with other Seafark members in various parks. And 9-23 will be the Camp Manitowoc 100th Anniversary radio station. If you can help volunteer for that and want to work with some Boy Scouts and celebrate, reach out to Keith Melvin, KA8BSA. I believe he's got Seafark address also. Okay, one last chance for check-ins. Looking for any last check-ins. Otherwise, we'll wrap this up.
HMS.
Gotcha, Steve. Go ahead.
Yeah, okay, Frank. Yeah, I got in a little bit late tonight, but anyway, yeah, just good evening to you, good evening to everybody, and good hearing you. And I just wonder where the 9:30 net's going to be since I didn't hear. So anyway, guess that's about it. Just enjoying the warm weather and trying to get rid of my boat. So back to you, KHMS.
Very good, Steve. The 9:30 net will be on 80 meters. I have not gone down there and looked around yet. Let me look here. Let me go back here and see. It's going to be somewhere around 3.827, but I got to look around for an open spot, and I'll do that as soon as I get off the air here. Also, we've got a pending question tonight, Steve. What would you like to see in some of the upcoming Seafark activity meetings? What topics? Anything from antennas to rigs to buying a radio to installing radios to fox hunting to contesting to DXing. Tell me what you want to see.
Okay, yeah, well, a little bit, yeah, antennas. I'm always interested in antennas, but can't really do anything down here. But yeah, and I know Anthony did a thing on this a while back, how to get into Logbook of the World, and yeah, just I can't think of it right now. Some of the other things that you can do, but that's one too, the Logbook of the World.
Right, I got you for antennas and Logbook of the World. Sounds good. All right, do we have any other check-ins? We're taking them one at a time now.
KE8VYT.
KE8VYT. Go ahead.
That's Kilo Delta 8 Victor Yankee Tango. This is Russ. I did discover in Virginia or West Virginia there is a KE8 Kilo Echo 8 Victor Yankee Tango that signed into the Boredom Breaker net last week. That was interesting. I couldn't get in though. I got short time and didn't get in. Anyway, yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing something about Logbook of the World. I haven't been able to get back in there since my computer died, so wouldn't mind learning about that. Maybe some FT8. I can't get in that either. So, but anyway, I just checking in here for the numbers, and I'll be calling you, Frank. I acquired a Gap Titan, and I might have questions. KD8BYT 73.
Right, very good, Russ. Got you down also for Logbook of the World and FT8, so see what we can do there then coming down the road. All right, do we have any other last check-ins? And I apologize for fumbling your call, Russ. I knew you were a KD8. There's so many new KE8s out there, and it just kind of rolls off my tongue, and I don't think about it. But yes, you've been around for a while. You're a Kilo Delta 8. Sorry about that. Any last check-ins? And otherwise, we'll wrap this net up. out there, but I didn't hear any audio. Try it again. I heard noise in there. Somebody was able to get into the repeater, so the repeater's hearing your carrier and your PL tone, but I could not copy any audio on it. If you can move to a higher location, maybe move around near a window or something, and or increase your power, you can give it one more try. I'll be listening here for just a second. Try it again.
Hey, Yankee Tango Golf.
Well, I heard part of a voice in there, but I could not make it out. If you could try it once more, give me your call one character at a time. Let's see if I can catch it.
Echo 8, Yankee Tango Golf.
Got a Yankee Tango Paul, I think. Try it again from the front end. Yankee Tango Paul station. I think that's what I heard. Yankee Tango Paul. Try it again.
Tango Golf.
Okay, nothing heard. Perhaps you're on the input or something like that. If you manage to find a way in, please do so in the next minute or two. All right, I've run through the announcements, so we're ready to close this net out then. I want to thank each and every one of you who took the time to join us tonight. Without you being here, there would be no net. In preparing to close the net, I'd like to, as I say, I want to thank everybody who joined us tonight. Without your participation, there would be no net. This has been Frank. My net call is W8EZT, and it's been my pleasure to host this evening's net. At this time, we'll close the net with 14 check-ins, myself included, and return this repeat to normal and customary amateur radio use. This is Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor closing the net at 9:07 p.m. 73, everyone, and don't forget we have an 80-meter net coming up here at 3.827 or thereabouts at 9:30, and I'll have the frequency on the repeater here in just a couple of minutes before 9:30. This has been W8EZT hosting the net tonight. Thanks very much for checking in.
W03X, W8KL, are you on frequency, John?
Yeah, I'm on here, Ken. This is W03X. Go ahead.
Yeah, I went down to downtown Falls with the cars tonight. I didn't see you.
I had mine on the north side of, let's see, no, that would be the west side of 2nd Street. Let's see, about, a couple hundred feet from Oakwood Drive.
Okay, I was over at the Testa building looking for you. I thought that's whereabouts you might be. I got there at 7, so you evidently were gone. There was no Buick that looked like yours. There was a red, I think a red and white one or something. What color is yours?
Yeah, it's red with a white top and a black bottom. Yeah, that was mine. I was still there at 7 because I was down there talking with Tom down by the disc jockey there, and then right after 7, I came up and set up turned on my laptop and this radio here, and did my digital check-in message to the Aries frequency there.
Okay, that was yours. Okay, I didn't see you then. I didn't remember. So, what is that, a 56 or 57 or something?
Yeah, it's the 56, the last year for that smaller engine. Then 57, they made more cubic inches. They went up to 364.
Post. Okay, very good. That was yours then. You were on the side of the, then you were parked by the city building on that side, close to the city building, and where all the announcer tent. You were in that area.
Yeah, the car was up by the city building, and I was down by on the corner of 2nd Street and Stowe Avenue, talking with Tom, who's the leader of a Buick Club of America chapter up toward, let's see, I guess like up toward Brecksville, and up that way. He's the one that has that is responsible for the Buick Club of America parts swap meet in April up there at Nick Abraham, Buick, GMC, Ford dealer there on the corner of Route 57 and Broad something or other in Elyria. Over.
Okay, W8KL. Yeah, I would have liked to have talked to him too. I had my Cascada there. I parked it over in the Testa building parking lot. If you happen to have noticed, the white Buick. Okay. If you're there again, I'll look you up. See, I didn't see you, so I didn't know if that was your car. I couldn't remember because I remember seeing it in your garage and all that, but I forgot what the heck the color was and everything.
Well, I put one of those signs on the windshield, that they have you fill out at the beginning of the season there, but they still have them there for newcomers. So I had that on the windshield. So and I have the hood up, so people can see the engine and stuff. Let's see, and that would change how it looks some, So, okay, I'll look over there next time. I also walk around some too in the neighborhood, and I went to the natatorium there for a little bit and did some arm exercises and then went over the cemetery and checked my wife's geocache, and everything was good with that. But by 7 I was back. So that's the story there. This is W03X.
W8KL. Okay, very good. I'll be talking to you probably at one of the up-and-coming meetings. I don't know if I'm going to the very next one, but I don't know. I got a lot of stuff going on here as far as early morning doctor appointments. So just routine stuff. But okay, I'll look for you again. I did run into a couple of real nice guys with stories about their cars. There was that deep maroon GTO. I was talking to the guy about Anderson Pontiac and Knaefel and all that stuff. He remembered all that.
Yeah, a lot of those people that have had their car for a while have a lot of interesting stories. That's part of the fun there of that riverfront cruise in.
Okay, yeah, there's a lot of stories there. I got there when people were kind of starting to leave. I came a little bit late. It starts at 4, doesn't it?
Yeah. I think they blocked that 2nd Street off. There's a sign on 2nd Street on the other side of Oakwood Drive that says what time they have it closed. And I usually roll in about an hour after it starts, and usually in that area there, one side of the street or the other when I park. So look for me on that end.
Yeah, very good. And there were the usual handful of brand new Corvettes, which I don't know. It's up to them to decide about that. But if I were to put my car over there, it's a late model. So, but you say I should do that, huh?
Oh yeah. Put it over there. Yeah, that's fine. As you said, there's new Corvettes over there, and so yours is unique. Even though it's new, it's out of the ordinary. So yeah, that's fine. Yeah, put it there.
Try sometime. I have to get a chair to sit down at. Hi. Okay, I'll talk to you guys. I'll talk to you, sir, a little bit later, John, and keep up the good work with the club. W3X, W8KL. I'll be talking to you, and I'd like to speak with that guy with the Buick Club. Touch base with him. I'll say 73. Before I go, though, does he show up every week or just once in a while?
He helps Cadillac Mike with the speaker, the sound system and stuff. Running the wires and setting up the speakers, and then he helps reload the stuff in his vehicle when he's all done with playing the music and making the announcements. So he's there every time.
Okay, yeah, I'd like to speak with him. And his name's Tom?
Yeah, Tom Ference. And so, are you a member of the Buick Club of America?
No, I am not. I'll have to look into that.
Oh, okay, because if you were, they send a roster. You get a roster, I don't know, like every 5 or 6 years, and he's in there. So he has several vehicles he brings to the riverfront cruise in. Today he had his 1985 Oldsmobile. I forget the model, but when it first came out back in the old days, it was front-wheel drive. Tornado, I think, is what it is. So that's what he had there today. And sometimes he brings his blue 1958 Buick Super.
Yeah, very good. Yeah, I remember the Tornado. It was only 1 year, 66, I think, wasn't it?
I'm not sure how many years it was front-wheel drive, but his is a 1985, so it's not that kind of drive anymore. I'm pretty sure it's rear-wheel drive, with a 307 cubic inch Oldsmobile engine.
I think 66 was the only year they did that, and it was a bigger car. It looked sort of like the Riviera, I think. I'm not sure, but just from memory. Okay, sir. I will untie the repeater. I'll talk to you a little bit later, and glad that, I could touch base with you. W3X, W8KL. I'll run into you the next time.
Okay, Ken. Very good. Yeah, Frank will be announcing the frequency for the 80-meter net here soon. So with that, I'll say 73 to you, Ken. Have a good evening, and talk with you again sometime. W8KL, this is W03X, I'll be clear.
Okay, good night, W8KL.
W8VPV. Repeater. Port. Link off. W8VPV. Repeater